Good morning and happy hump day. It's Wednesday, November 20, 2019, and you're watching the Daily Mix TV. Hi, my name is Sean Patrick Hillman. No, it is not the house of ill repute that the Housewives of New Jersey or Samantha Jones, who is Kim Cattrall's character in Sex and the City, have gone to, though the name would make you think it was. Instead, Studs is a new niche player in retail focused on an old rite of passage, ear piercing. Studs has launched nationwide online and also opened its first brick-and-mortar location, Studs Studio, in downtown New York. The fledgling company plans to expand its physical presence to additional locations throughout next year. Now, it was created to modernize the traditional mall piercing experience, according to co-founder and CEO Anna Harmon, who most recently served as interim chief customer officer at Walmart's Jet Black, which is a text message-based personal shopping service. Now, prior to that, she was a director at store number 8. That's an incubator inside of Walmart. They push out a lot of new product and brands. Now, according to Harmon, Studs prioritizes health and safe needle piercing in a fun and bold space and offers a trend-driven jewelry selection. Now, it's not like those old days when you went to Claire's Accessories in your local mall to get your ear punched or anything like that. The new concept is designed to offer the best of two models: traditional mall brands that offer piercing services and local tattoo parlors, combining ear piercing services with omni-channel retail operations and a wide assortment of curated earscapes. They're personalized combinations of piercings and earrings that customers can mix and match to create their own unique look. There are single earrings and, of course, collections. So piercings cost a flat fee of $35 for one hole, $50 for two. The price range for piercing jewelry is about $30 to $150 per earring. The fashion jewelry assortment ranges from $14 to $175 per single earring. Quote, "There's a lack of brands in the piercing and retail landscape that prioritize healthy needle piercing, offer a trend-driven product assortment, and accessible pricing. By having a singular focus on the ear piercing experience from start to finish, we're confident that Studs can close the gap and deliver a service not only centered around ear piercing, but optimized for every possible need related to either piercing or jewelry in a way that no other brand is doing today." And that's Harmon herself. You know, the company also announced a $3 million fundraise led by First Round Capital. They had participation from a number of angel investors. Financing is going to be used for building out retail, enhancing the e-commerce experience, and expanding their in-house team. So for a unique idea or to update an old idea seems to be the dish du jour right now. And for these guys, I think this makes a lot of sense. I mean, think about this. How many young women, in their teens, how many young guys in their teens all go out and get ear piercings, not to mention the amount of different kinds of piercings that happen now across multiple body parts. So for them, it's a smart move. It's still trending up in terms of the piercing movement. So it's going to be interesting to see how they perform. But overall, when you look at the design and everything else, smart approach. Now, for this week's You Just Can't Make It Up. Yesterday, I had Verizon install Fios here. Wow. Talk about a massive difference in customer service, speed, quality, and more compared to the hell I was living through, known as Spectrum. Yesterday was the first time in over 35 years that I was no longer a Spectrum and its predecessors customer. And it's all because of Spectrum's greed, rude, and poorly trained customer service staff, and the reality that their services just don't stand up to the competition. My point in this is simple. If you're a loyal brand person like I am, every now and again, just do yourself a favor and take a quick look around to make sure your loyalty is not being misspent. Today, I could not be more happy to have jumped ship and say goodbye to Spectrum. Now's a good time as any to talk about their latest development. They're launching, or they've launched, it's a little confusing, Spectrum Mobile. It is a disaster screaming to happen. The company is buying bulk time off of Verizon's wireless network and reselling it to create this new service. It's not uncommon. A lot of the major carriers have sub-brands that they will parse time off of their air towers to service those customers, but they're not the priority. And in this case, Verizon wireless customers will be the priority, whereas Spectrum Mobile will be the also ran. Now, herein lies the issue. Spectrum's predecessor, Time Warner Cable, tried this stunt a few years back, and it failed miserably. If I recall correctly, it was either Sprint or T-Mobile's network that they were buying bulk on. Now, just because this was happening, I decided, you know what? Let me go down to their store on 23rd Street and see if anything has changed with this once favored New York cable provider. Well, sadly, I found not a damn thing had changed. As you can see from the photo, they hadn't even set up the stores yet for Spectrum Mobile with products and accessories, despite announcing the launch of the service weeks before through advertising on TV, print, and radio. Now, even the folks who worked at the store couldn't tell me anything about their plans, what phones they were selling, what accessories. They cited that the new service wasn't launching until the end of last week, as I went earlier last week at the store. That was only 2 days away from when I was there. So the staff still hadn't been trained, and you only have 48 hours to launch. Yeah, we see where this is going. Shame on Charter for turning Time Warner Cable into this disaster. They're being sued by 5 of my friends at Spectrum New York One News for age and gender discrimination. There are a lot of problems going on with Spectrum right now, and all of it is because of Charter. It's insane and exactly why these people need to close up shop. Macy's has been hit by a data breach again that may have exposed customers' names, addresses, and payment card numbers to hackers. The retailer has already notified a small number of online shoppers whose data was stolen in October. Now, Macy's is the latest target in a string of breaches affecting companies, primarily retailers. The cost of data breaches has literally gone up 12% over the past 5 years. That's according to IBM Security. Herein lies the issue. And I've run into this recently because I was a victim of fraud. When you look at Chase as an example, Chase Bank, they have a huge amount of fraud hitting their bank. And what you have going on right now is a lot of retailers use JP Morgan Chase, they use Bank of America, and Citibank. Those are the 3 big ones for retail. The problem with this is that, first of all, Chase's systems are not that secure. And I know this because, as I said, I've been a victim of fraud recently on my Chase account, which I closed. On top of that, I know other people who've been affected at Chase with the same exact issue. So Chase is not doing what they need to do to fight this. With retailers, it's a lot more complicated because you've got a lot of different levers and pulleys that are going on at the same time in terms of your merchant account, your data holding servers. Then you've got your database of customers, and all 3 of those converge at the point of credit card swipe. So with an issue like this, they're accessing a lot of sensitive information, and it's hurting a lot of customers. Sony Pictures Entertainment is acquiring AT&T's stake in Game Show Network to take 100% control of the channel. AT&T will receive $500 million in total for its 42% stake in the channel. It airs, classic quiz shows like Family Feud, Deal or No Deal, those kinds of shows. And it really is a throwback, and it's a fun channel to watch. They also have some other syndicated programming. Now, while customers are shifting away from traditional pay TV services in favor of online streaming, Sony says they're confident that Game Show Network, which does pull most of its revenue from advertising rather than pay TV, will remain profitable. Only time will tell, but I can tell you this much. Knowing Sony and what they do and how they look at investments and those kinds of things, this is definitely going to work out for them. It'll just be interesting to see how it plays into the rest of their holdings. All right. I don't even know where to start on this one. Looks like Chick-fil-A is still ruffling feathers. This time, though, it's not an LGBTQ plus group or community. The Georgia-based chicken sandwich chain has long been criticized over its contributions to groups with anti-LGBTQ stances. Now, earlier this year, the San Antonio City Council voted to ban the chain from its international airport, citing its history of LGBTQ issues. Then Buffalo, New York's airport followed a month later. So, on Monday, Chick-fil-A Foundation, which is their charity arm, announced that they're introducing a more focused giving approach for next year. Okay, well, that's good news. It will, quote, deepen its giving to a smaller number of organizations working exclusively in the areas of education, homelessness, and hunger. They've committed $9 million to organizations such as the Junior Achievement USA, which fosters work readiness and financial literary skills for students through the 12th grade. They're also benefiting Covenant House International. There's one a couple of blocks away. You know, I used to volunteer at Covenant House. And that provides outreach to 700,000 homeless runaways and trafficked young people every year. But they're not going to make multi-year commitments to charities anymore. And they're now going to reassess their philanthropy every single year. So on that note alone, that makes a lot of sense for Chick-fil-A. Here's where the trouble comes in. Even though they're actually not going to include, or they're not renewing, rather, I should say, their annual donations to the Salvation Army, as well as the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Those are two organizations that have made controversial statements about homosexuality and same-sex marriage in the past. Now, here's the thing, and where the controversy comes in. Now you've got a diehard Chick-fil-A fans calling the chain out for pandering to the super left, giving into the media. You have people now wanting to boycott Chick-fil-A for no longer shunning the LGBTQ community. And you have folks in the LGBTQ community that are stating it's too little too late. Come on, guys. Look, all I want is a chicken sandwich. Remember when buying food or clothing was just simply buying food or clothing? Now everything's a controversy or a protest. So, look, at the end of the day, this really is Crisis Comms 101. They never should have gone down this road. They should have quietly made these donations and then announced it post-holiday. Now, in the midst of charity giving season and the holidays, you have a serious amount of people that are not happy with this company. They should have let sleeping dogs lie and woken them up in the dead of winter with some warm, heartfelt news of the change. All right, the Kroger company has entered into a first-of-its-kind partnership in the U.S. to grow produce on site. That's right, they're going to grow them at retail. Now, the nation's largest grocer retailer will unveil living produce farms at 2 QFC, that's a Kroger banner, locations in Seattle next week. The project, done in collaboration with Infarm, an urban farming network, will use hydroponic technology to grow lettuce, kale, and other greens on site. The farms are expected to launch in 13 more QFC locations next year. Now, by growing product on site, excuse me, I'm getting a bit of a cold. By growing product on site, the farms remove the need for extended transportation and storage, producing a more eco-conscious product. But here's the issue. How can you possibly pull this off? I mean, really think about it. You saw the image of this display. So think about this. If there are 500 customers per day who want lettuce from this in-store farm, are they going to actually be able to service all 500 customers every day? Well, not from that little box, you won't. So this effort also takes away from farmers who are already having serious financial problems. And a lot of that is due to politicizing and corporatizing the farming industry. Remember, most farms used to be family owned and operated. Now, most of them are corporate owned. There are still a lot of family farms, but they're hurting. Now, while this is a novel concept for sure, it's got some serious problems attached to it. Quote, our partnership with Infarm allows us to innovate by combining groundbreaking in-store farming technology with our passion for fresh local produce and ecological sourcing. Kroger is excited to be first to market and offer the best of the season, and we're proud to lead the U.S. on this journey. And that's Susie Monford, Kroger's Group VP of Fresh. You know, look, I think the Infarm thing is brilliant. I think in terms of scale, they're going to have a lot of problems that they're not ready for yet. Warby Parker, you know, it's a brand we haven't talked about in a little while. They're now expanding beyond glasses. The direct-to-consumer company just released its own line of contact lenses called Scout, and they're going to sell contact lenses from other brands like AccuView and Bausch & Lomb. It's also tripling the number of in-store optometrists at their new retail location. So the price here, spot on. Starting yesterday, customers can purchase a 3-month supply of lenses for $110. You know, Warby Parker, it was just a total phenomena that came out of nowhere. Brilliant strategy, very minimalist, very straightforward, no real issues behind the brand. And it's a smart move for them to expand. And I know it's something they've been wanting to do for a while into contact lenses. So we'll keep an eye on this one for you and report back. But I would expect that this is going to go through the roof. All right, on a personal note, Elvis Duran in the morning shows Nate Marino, straight Nate, has suffered another stroke. And you guys know, how much I love this show and how much of a fan of Elvis I am. I've known him for a long time. He sits on the board of Rock and Rawhide. Well, yesterday on the radio cast, Elvis, delivered the sad news to the audience that he got a text message from Heather, who's Nate's girlfriend. Nate's in the hospital. He spoke with Nate, sounded great. He's not doing that well. He will be fine. And Elvis said, I know he will. I know he'll be great. Here's why I'm bringing this up. Go get your physical. Now, obviously, in Nate's case, it's a little different because he had heart surgery when he was very young, and it didn't heal properly, and he had to go get open heart surgery in order to fix it. My point to you folks is very simple. Given all of the things that we run into on a daily basis, from stress, from the foods that we eat, the lack of exercise for so many, you need to go get your physical to understand where you are in your health, where your body is. And I don't mean from an airy-fairy, kind of perspective. I mean a literal perspective. Something as simple as a blood test can save your life. So please, go to your doctor, get your blood test done, get your physical. It's always good to go twice a year. All right, for this week's Wayback Wednesday, I would encourage all of you to look at Disney Plus's app. The thing is loaded with classics, like the original Disney animation movies such as Cinderella, Dumbo, Snow White, Bambi, and so on, but also movies like Bedknobs and Broomsticks, The Black Hole, Swiss Family Robinson, Old Yeller, and more. It is definitely a cool place to find some great throwbacks and classics. Now, if you're a Verizon Fios customer, you can get a year of Disney Plus on them. After that, it's $6.99 a month. For everybody else, it's $6.99 a month if you download the app and sign up for a subscription. So honestly, it's worth it. Even if you're only doing it for a few months to binge watch, those kinds of things, totally worth it. The app right now is actually trending up above. Last time I checked, they had over 15 million downloads already. So it's a wildly successful launch for Disney. I'm so excited to see what they're going to do with the platform. I do know they're launching more original content onto it. So keep an eye out for that, and we'll keep you posted as well. My name is Sean Patrick Hillman. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Daily Mix TV. If you guys have any questions, comments, or story ideas, please email thedailymixtv@gmail.com. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you tomorrow on Thursday.